I'm a little shorter, so I have to take the mic off the mic.
I understand.
All right, everyone, welcome to another day here at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. I am pleased to be joined by KPMG Ambassador Stacy Lewis. Stacy, welcome to Baltusrol, and welcome back to the KPMG Women's PGA. Just some overall thoughts of, coming to this exquisite host site and what you think of it so far.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it's been 9 years, to be honest, of this championship, and the golf courses that we're continuing to get are amazing, to be honest. This golf course is, it's the ultimate major test. It's you've got tricky greens, you've got firm, fast greens, you've got rough, you've got dog legs and trying to keep the ball in fairways. Every part of your game is going to be tested this week, and the golf course is in amazing shape. Forecast looks horrendous, which stinks. This golf course is playing firm and fast right now, and it'd be such a good test. So we'll pray that this rain stays away and we can get things rolling.
With a forecast in the back of your mind, we've heard a lot about this opening 4-hole stretch of this course and also the 2 closing par 5s. What are some of the keys that you think will be needed to get through kind of the opening and closing holes successfully?
Yeah, I'd say the opening 6 holes. I'm talking to some caddies, you may not legitimately have a good birdie opportunity until 7. I just think those first 6 holes are so difficult. And it just being that start right out of the gate, you got to come out of the gate hitting great golf shots. Number 1 is, it's probably one of the longest holes on the golf course. So the start's going to be important. I think the mentality of keeping yourself in it, knowing that, okay, if I'm 1 or 2 over through those first 6, it's okay. Because you got some shorter holes, some holes you can make birdies on, and then, like you said, the par 5s, the 2 finishing holes where a lot can happen.
All right, we'll start here with Steve.
Stacy, yesterday we had the whole cadre of executives up from KPMG and the PGA. And the question to them was, what were your expectations 9 years ago when you kind of started this thing, and how have they changed? Well, you were one of the catalysts who brought KPMG and put this whole thing together. What were your expectations back then, and how have they changed?
To be honest, this is what I expected. This is what I wanted for this championship. Did I think that we could get to some of these golf courses we've gotten at so quickly? No. But I thought in my head this was definitely obtainable, of playing these great golf courses, getting on network TV where you have more eyeballs, getting the people out to watch. None of this surprises me. It's not, this is what I expected out of it, to be honest.
Right.
All right, Beth Ann?
Stacy, what's the most interesting bit of history you've learned about this place?
Oh, man. I learned about Jack Nicklaus's 1-iron yesterday on the 18th hole. I honestly haven't learned a lot about it because I've been running from one thing to the next the last 2 days. Honestly, not a lot. Just been crazy busy. So,
what's your favorite attribute of this course?
I'd say probably the greens. Just the intricacies of the breaks and trying to read them. They're very tricky. And then I love the look of the bunkers with the little wispy grass on top, because there's a ton of blind shots on this golf course, and so without that grass you honestly wouldn't be able to see any of the bunkers or know where any of the trouble is, so it points it out for you at least.
Ryan?
Stacy, you guys talked about obviously the opportunity to come to courses that are very prestigious, that elevate the women's game here. The next 2 weeks with this and Pebble Beach, what do you hope casual fans who maybe haven't watched the LPGA that much will get out of watching these next 2 weeks? So much more coverage, prime time with it. What do you think? What do you want them to come away seeing when they watch the next couple weeks?
I want them to see how good these girls are. And I don't think your casual fan is going to know how hard this golf course is. But, these girls are so good. And the fact we're pretty deep on who has an opportunity to win here. And, you could say 10, 15 years ago, was our tour talent-wise ready for a golf course like this? Maybe, maybe not. But these girls are ready for a golf course like this. And they're going to perform great on it. And the biggest thing for me is you walk through that clubhouse and you see the winners of all these past champions that have won big events here, and it's guys. And then, there's maybe one here of a USAM or something like that. But, to just start a history here of women being on those pictures and being around that clubhouse, that's the biggest thing for me of what's changing in women's golf. Because we're doing this every year. We're doing this every golf course we go play. It's going to happen at Pebble too. We're changing the history of these golf courses, and I'm just glad that the powers that be picked up the phone and said that they were ready for it.
At the risk of hyperbole, how important are these next 2 weeks in your mind to help send a message about women's golf?
Yeah, our majors are our biggest opportunity to grow our sport and to grow this tour. It's when we get the most people watching, the most people here in the media center paying attention. These weeks are so important, and where you play, it matters. It matters to the casual fan. It matters to who's watching.
Thank you. Over to Juan.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so part of the watching experience is going to be watching the struggle, no, in a way. And we saw that with the PGA at Oak Hill. We're going to see that this week here, no? So, I mean, can you talk a little bit about the resilience of women in conditions like this? No? So.
Yeah. I mean, this golf course is going to play hard, and then you're going to add some elements of wind and rain, and it's going to get even harder. And it's going to be one of those golf courses that you just have to, when you get in trouble, you got to get out. There's a lot of the par fours have, cross bunkers that, if you try to take something, be aggressive out of the rough and get caught in these cross bunkers that are 50, 60 yards from the hole, you can make some big numbers. So it's going to come down to who manages it the best, who can get up and down from 100 yards the most often. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be at least one of those birdie fests where, everybody's just attacking pins.
I wonder how long it took you for the majors, especially, to accept bogeys and celebrate pars, which is kind of the key to this week. Yeah.
Well, I love hard golf courses. I love when it plays hard. So I've never had to accept it. I just, I love the challenge of hard golf courses, and it's always suited my game. So I get excited for places like this.
Thanks, Juan. Over to Sarah.
With that unique feature of ending on 2 par 5s, can you just kind of walk us through your strategy of how to play 17 with that blind second shot and then 18 with water down the left, water across the fairway, and that slope up to the green?
Yeah, so 17, I mean, I honestly think the most important shot's going to be that tee shot of getting it in the fairway so you can kind of get over the big mess of bunkers there in the layup area. Because then from there, if you can get to that layup area, you got a pretty short wedge in your hand. Green's coming back at you, so it's a good birdie opportunity, and maybe they move a tee upper there to make that a little bit interesting. And then 18's actually very similar. You got to get it in the fairway, because then, I mean, you're one, if you hit in the rough, you can't get to the green, and two, you can't even get over that creek sometimes, so you're having to lay back at 160, 170 yards for your third shot into a par 5. So, I mean, to me, it's get in the fairway, and then can I be aggressive from there?
How mentally challenging is it to prepare on a firm, fast layout with weather coming? Might soften it a little bit. I know they have sub-air and drainage out here now, but how challenging is it to kind of prepare on something and then have to play on something else?
Yeah, it's really hard. You come off the last couple weeks where it's been a little bit softer, and then you come to here. I mean, the first, day, you probably watched everybody's chips are going too far, you're carrying them too far, they're rolling out too much, and so you make that adjustment and come backwards, and then, you're going to see something completely different once the rain starts. So yeah, I mean, we face those challenges every week, but, with the sub-air, I mean, I don't think the greens will change a whole lot, to be honest, but it'll just be more, drives aren't rolling as much. They haven't had a ton of rain lately, so, hopefully we don't get a ton of rain and things don't change too much.
And then finally, I know we've kind of heard it's playing a little bit linksy out there, just being so firm and fast. As a player that's won on kind of a link-style golf course before, do you think that favors you? Yeah,
I think, you got to be a little bit creative. You got to see the bounces. You got to know, when you got to kind of bounce it into hills, especially, I mean, even on approach shots, of whether, okay, I'm 120 yards, but if I carry it up on top of this ridge, it might go over the back. Can I chip a little 9 into the hill and let it kind of release out on top, you know. So you got to be a little bit creative when it's bouncy like this, and just take the opportunities when they come.
Brian?
In your opinion, who's the number one player in women's golf right now?
Oh, somebody asked me this the other day. Man. That's hard. It was hard. I didn't have an answer the other day either. I'd say probably the most complete player right now is probably Jin Young Ko. And I know she's number one in the rankings and everything, but just as far as ball striking to putting, you know, where she's at right now, I would probably say her.
Back to Beth Ann?
Rose Zhang is coming in here a little bit later today. Solheim Cup captain. Have you had a chance to spend any time with her? And just can you give us your impressions of Mizuho?
Yeah, texted with her a little bit. I've known Rose for a while now. She played for me at the Spirit, the amateur competition, a couple years ago. So she played for me there. So I texted with her a little bit, tried to leave her alone because I know things have been crazy for her. And just told her I needed her to try on clothes this week. That was really all I needed to bug her about. And I said we could talk more after Pebble. So I wasn't surprised at all to see her win there. I do think having the juniors there helped her just be a little bit more comfortable maybe in that environment. But at that Spirit 2 years ago, Rose shot 10 under for 3 days, won by 2 or 3. And if you'd watched her play, you probably said she played bad. I mean, it was just very impressive with her demeanor and the way she carries herself. And I played with her during COVID at A&A out in the desert. So, I mean, I've seen her play a lot of golf, not surprising. I've obviously followed college golf because of my husband, so I get his side of it as well. And, you know, as captain, I'm excited. I had her on my radar just more for 2024 because I knew it'd be hard for her to win because that was the only way she was going to have a chance to play for 23 was for her to win. So I've been following her, and now obviously we're following things a little bit more closely. And, you know, but she's still, I mean, like everybody else, she can still go earn her spot. She's obviously moving up Rolex pretty quickly. So, you know, I'd love for her to make it on her own and take the decision out of my hands.
Can I ask one more follow-up? Just looking at the forecast with all the rain that's hopefully not coming, what kind of player does this golf course favor?
I think approach play, ball striking. Fairways are tight at points, but in general, you got some room off the tees in general. So I would point more to like a second shot, and then who can just kind of have the smarts to manage things when you do get in trouble.
Juan?
Yeah. So yes. So
You're good.
yeah. Yesterday we learned a lot about the KPMG insights and stats.
Yep.
And what would you say is the main contribution from those stats and those, and then how do you plan to use those at the Solheim Cup?
Yeah. So. Yesterday, you know, they've been working on this for a long time. I do know that of getting right now our stats. You know, you have to have a login, and you can only basically players and caddies are the only ones that can see it. So now the stats are going to be out there for the public to see, so they can go on and see. You know, I just sit here and say, okay, it's going to be a great iron play. Now the public can go on there and say, okay, who has the best strokes gained approach? Who should I be looking for to play this week? So I think it just brings more interest to it, especially for people that are interested in that. And kind of, you know, the analytics are in every sport right now. And so just a great opportunity for us to take advantage of it. I mean, I know a lot of the girls have used it in their own games of how to get better and what areas they should get better in. And then Solheim Cup, you know, it's been a long process of basically trying to get our team to have what the men's Ryder Cup teams have had for the last 3 Ryder Cups, of having this access to data to allow us to, I mean, we're meeting with them today, but to really dive into these players of what's their strengths and weaknesses, who's trending in the right direction, who's not, who plays best on certain types of grasses. And then once the Solheim Cup happens, it's the pairings themselves of what, you know, simulating pairings of who can play well together. And I've learned a lot over these last few months of, you know, they have a lot of data, a lot of research on the 4-ball and the foursome format of what types of players play best in those formats, and it's completely changed my mindset on what type of players you put in those situations. So I think it's going to really help us. I think it's given me some clarity, I think, of why we've struggled in the past in certain formats. And so I'm excited to hopefully see it work out a little bit better for us.
So I'm guessing it might be even a reference for your picks too, no?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think you could look at the picks that when it comes down to it of who, what player, if, you need, say somebody's automatically made it and I need someone to pair with that person and I'm between two picks, of those two people, who pairs the best with that person. So, yeah, so I mean, it's a huge part of the picks already. They're able to project who's going to make the team based on the players' past schedules and how they've played at those past tournaments. I mean, basically anything I ask statistics-wise, they can figure it out. So it's and I'm very much that mindset, as you can probably tell. So yeah, so it's been great for me, and I think it's going to offer clarity for the players of, hey, I'm not just putting you together because you play the same golf ball or you're friends or whatever it is. I'm putting you guys together for a reason because I think you can be really successful.
All right, and we'll wrap with Steve.
That might have been the most analytical answer.
Sorry.
No, that might have been the most analytical answer we've ever gotten from a Solheim Cup captain who's still trying to play.
Yes.
How do you now go out and try to work on your 5-iron?
That Solheim brain shuts off, and when I'm inside the ropes, I'm Stacy the golfer. I try to be where I am. I try to focus on the task at hand, and when I leave the golf course, I'm going home to be with my family, and everything else shuts down. So just try to compartmentalize things and get through every day. But yeah, my brain's always going. It never really shuts down.
All right, well, thank you, Stacy, and best of luck this week.
Thank you.